NC State football is afraid of App State. They won't play the Mountaineers. No way they'll go up the mountain and play the best football program in the state of North Carolina. See y'all in 2028.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Our Wednesday show is brought to you by Nissan. This episode is brought to you by the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Stay tuned for the rest of the episode where we reveal our Nissan Armada Team of the Week. Happy Wednesday to all. As always, I'm Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. Big news came across our desk on Tuesday. NC State football and App State football have reconvened, and NC State will take a road trip up the mountain to see the Mountaineers. This will take place in 2028, September 30th of 2028. Now, this comes after, I guess you could call it some controversy, more so on the App State side of things, because they swear the red and white is terrified to come up to Boone and play at the Rock. Not exactly the case. Now, NC State had previously had a home-and-home scheduled with App State. We were supposed to go up the mountain this season, this coming fall. That did not happen. That was replaced with a non-conference series with Virginia, which I think that is lame. App State was going to make the return trip to Raleigh next year in 2026. That one is still on. However, they have reconvened, and NC State will be taking a trip to Boone in 2028. Kenton, what is your gut reaction seeing that they have found a way to make this work?
You know, I don't like you, you don't like me. The same thing I said about ECU. If you want to say, oh, we're better than you, we're the best state program in the state and all that, prove it. Prove it. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a big line it up guy. Okay? You're never going to see me say, oh, man, if they think they're the best, we need to cower down. I don't give a damn who it is or how small our chance will be tomorrow. I don't care. Line it up. And at the end of the day, App State has demanded that we lie. They begged, they pleaded, they said everything in the world. Oh, these guys in Raleigh are not. We're the best program. Hey, listen. Congrats on your win over Michigan all those years ago. Great job. Congrats. Congrats on your winning percentage. I know you've been one of the winningest teams in all of college football. You jumped up levels and, haven't missed a beat. Congratulations. Lay it on them thick. Lay it on them thick. Dorn or whoever is the head coach at that time, lay it on this team thick. I'm sorry. I'm one of those guys. I believe that you need to beat up on teams till they pay reverence, till they show reverence. Okay? I vividly remember there was a kickoff where I was one of the captains walking out, helmet on the mouth and all that. And one of the captains from another team said, hey, man, don't hurt us too bad. And that's the type of energy I want from everybody. I want people knowing, hey, it's coming. You can talk all you want, but it's coming. You can say all the tough talk that you want. We coming down here. I want to have it to where your head coach is whacking you upside the head for even saying anything to me. And this is where you prove it. Lay it on them thick in 2028 and make them reconsider. Make them think twice before they say, you know what, we were going to reconvene and revisit 2030 or 2032 or so. But on hindsight, give me some Louisiana Monroe. Give me some Tulane Golden Hurricane in here because whatever them boys in Raleigh had going on, I don't want that no more. This is one of those moments where, again, you talk big to me, I'm going to just, again, walk lightly, but carry a big stick.
NC State fans have certainly taken notice of App State fans over the course of the last couple months. And I remember there was that moment, an article had come out that the state government of North Carolina wanted to mandate that NC State and the Dirty Foot Club would have to play Charlotte, App State, and ECU, mandating it across football and basketball. I believe that might still be up in the air. Obviously, has not been passed yet, but I don't think you should force teams to play each other in that right. But I do think these games are good for the state of North Carolina and the fandom across college sports in the state of North Carolina. So I was a little bit disappointed when our road trip got washed away going up to Boone, but I am so happy to get it back on the schedule because I've seen some talk. I have seen some chatter that App State fans are talking that talk. They're leaving out a lot of bookmarkable material for a team that has never beaten NC State. 0-6 all time against the Wolfpack. But App State firmly believes they're planting their flag in that mountain, that they have the best program in the state. It is time to truly find out. Across all the other major football teams within the state, NC State has had the most consistent success across the last 5, 10, however many years you want to call it. We've been dominating the Dirty Foot Club. Duke has had our number of recently, but we have a lot more success within the ACC. Same goes for Wake Forest, even though we do have a more recent appearance in the conference championship than we do. But believe it or not, I know I don't sound like I do, but I actually like App State. I think that their football program is fascinating. The historical relevance of their program, they still have to this day probably the biggest upset of all time, maybe across all sports, in the Big House, and beat, I think they were like top 5 ranked Michigan, one of the best college football stories of all time. Then, more recently, they went to Texas A&M, beat the Aggies. That was a huge win. They got College Game Day, all that. They would be a very likable program. My problem is once programs start talking in the way that App State has begun talking, now you piss me off. Now I want to go find out, see what we got firsthand. I cannot wait for 2028.
Grayson, you're more generous than me. Obviously, that win over Michigan was very upsetting to me, an 11-year-old in Detroit, Michigan at that time in 06 or whenever it was. But I'll tell you what, you're still kind to me because even if that win didn't happen, I don't give a piss about nothing but the pack. I don't like any of you guys. I really, no, as far as other teams in the state go, there are some I'm like, I don't got a problem with it. But every time I start hearing teams talk about they're the best team in the state, in which state? And did they separate us? Is there Western North Carolina, Eastern North Carolina, and Central? Is there?
It must be 2 North Carolinas.
What happened? What happened? I thought they already separated the Carolinas and whatnot. But don't worry about it. Don't worry. NC State is on the way. You asked for the smoke? Oh, don't worry. We bringing the vape pens. We bringing the barbecue. We bringing the dabs. We bringing the it's things that we can't even say on there. We bringing all the smoke. We bringing all the smoke, baby. You want it? Congratulations. It's here now. It's at your doorstep.
And the smoke is not exactly something unfamiliar for App State fans. And I remember that over the summer's ACC kickoff, Coach Dorn was asked about taking App State off of the schedule, and he stated that the ACC has instructed all ACC football programs to not play, or at least veer away from playing G5 schools on the road because it hurts viewership, which is a very hot topic right now as the revenue sharing model will directly reflect that now in the near future. But I still love that NC State is still making the effort to go up and do this. I understand the money is not exactly in favor of NC State because if you lose, yes, you're burning a lot of money and it provides you virtually no benefit if you win other than, yeah, you won a game that you should have won. We talked all about that when this came up a couple months ago, but nonetheless, I'm stoked for this game. I cannot wait. I've wanted to go see a game up at App State for quite some time. I now have the perfect reason to go up that mountain and see one of those things. September 30th, 2028, NC State football will be on the road at App State. I'm just counting the hours until then. Believe me, I'm ready to go. I want to see what that talk is all about, App State. Let's see what y'all got. Coming up next, we're going to get into a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of something. This comes after a quick word from our sponsors. Our Wednesday sponsor is Nissan. The Nissan Armada Team of the Week is brought to you by our friends at Nissan and the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Each week, our Locked On college basketball experts are picking one team that stands apart. From the top-seeded stars to the unexpected upsets, these guys showcase the strength and sheer power in order to push their team forward. This week's Armada clear-cut Team of the Week are the Houston Cougars. Since joining the Big 12 last season, the Cougars have gone a combined 33-4 in conference games, winning the regular season title by multiple games both years. There is no team in college basketball that capably embodies the rugged Armada more than Kelvin Sampson's squad. Houston's tenacious defense leads the nation in fewest points allowed per game for the second consecutive year. When it comes to the Nissan Armada, they say go forth and conquer. That's exactly what the Houston Cougars have been up to. It's clear that the team of the week is out there ready to conquer the road ahead with confidence, just like you can in the all-new Nissan Armada or any of Nissan's outstanding vehicles. Take the Nissan Armada, Rogue, or Pathfinder and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. Middle portion of our Wednesday show. Now time for a whole lot of nothing, whole lot of something. 3 topics. We'll tell you exactly where we stand on them. First one here. The All-ACC Awards are rolling out for women's college basketball. Your very own Wes Moore, ACC Coach of the Year. Whole lot of nothing, whole lot of something.
Whole lot of something. This team is special, and this team has players that are special. So let's not take away from them in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But it needs to be noted how Wes Moore has done this with a bunch of different styles of teams. With teams that are very balanced and you never know who the leading scorer is going to be on a given night, on teams where it's like, hey, this is the alpha of the group. This is the leader. This is the definitive. They're going to be the superstar night in, night out. Everybody else is going to eat based off of them setting the table, whatever the case may be. He's had every team that he has, you're going to get in the stands. You're going to play some defense. You know, that's kind of a given with Wes Moore. But the way in which he has won with multiple different teams, and this year, I don't believe that many people, despite coming off a Final Four run, had much faith in us. I don't think that many folks said, oh, yeah, we're going to go back, especially when our transfer center went down and did not play a single minute of NC State basketball. At that point in time, the way that our bigs kind of looked like deer in headlights early in the season, everybody knew, oh, pack it up. It's over for this crew. And lo and behold, what happened? It just kept getting better and better and better and better until all of a sudden, hey, I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot me, you know. I heard that Notre Dame had a stretch 4 by the name of Maddie Westbeld. I heard that NC State had a stretch 4 by the name of Tilda Trigger. Who do you think got more rebounds in that game against one another, Grayson? Who do you think outscored who?
Surely it was Westbeld, right?
The senior of the group, right? The elder statesman, the old lady of the group. No, it was Trigger. It was Trigger. So, you know, I'm just saying, with all due respect to Coach Ivey, again, big fan of your work. Can't wait till your son gets back from my Pistons. But the reality is Coach Moore deserves this. It's a whole lot of something, and I'm sure he's going to keep getting these back-to-back top recruiting classes with astonishing players each and every time.
Outside of a lot of people just being loyal to their own favorite team, I've seen a lot of people actually upset about Wes Moore winning the ACC Coach of the Year, namely from Notre Dame fans. And they're all saying, well, Coach Ivey outcoached Gene, all the other great schools that they've played so far this year. Why doesn't Coach Ivey win ACC Coach of the Year? Well, if you roll back, 2 weeks ago, there was a game that took place in Reynolds Coliseum, and Wes Moore outcoached Neil Ivey.
Hey, now, say now.
I know we've done a lot of tiebreak type of stuff around here the last week or so, but hey, there's another one for you. Wes Moore outcoached your coach, Notre Dame. Wes Moore is the ACC Coach of the Year. And I think the other part of my comment there's some casuals that I think don't quite realize what Wes Moore had to do this year to get this team in their current position. Kenton mentioned Caitlin Weimar there. She was supposed to be our most impactful transfer of this season. She came from Boston University. She was an all-Patriot League player and supposed to be a fixture in our front court. Didn't get a single minute out of her because she had an injured knee. That's a big deal. And for Wes Moore to replace Caitlin Weimar with Tilda Trigger, a girl coming from Sweden who has never played as concrete of a center position as she's currently playing, had to basically learn this on the fly. You beat Notre Dame, you beat Duke, and now you're the ACC number 1 seed heading into the Greensboro tournament. That's a really big deal. That should not be overstated and underlooked at. Wes Moore has done the most impressive coaching job in the ACC. And everyone else is going to call us homers for saying that. Roll the tape. Look at what he's done with this group. They faltered early as well. They had some early struggles out of the gate, and they've still found a way to climb atop of the ACC conference, which is a premier conference. Don't overlook that. Wes Moore has done a tremendous job. We are overjoyed that he is ours. And one thing about Wes Moore, we all know it. He's going to stand on business. Whole lot of something. Mentioned this yesterday in terms of the ACC settlement with Clemson and Florida State, but NC State sits dead middle of the pack in the conference in average viewership over the course of the last 5 years. Whole lot of nothing, whole lot of something.
I would say a whole lot of something, because it means wherever you sit in these rankings was going to mean something. If you sit at the top, that means you stood to gain a lot. If you stood at the bottom, that means you're set to lose a lot of money. And with that being said, being dead in the middle means you're going to maintain and kind of tread water here, which is important. That's important for what we are seeing right now, whether or not, again, this goes beyond these coaches. This goes beyond Dorn. This goes beyond Keats. This goes beyond Avon. This goes beyond Moore. This goes beyond Coach Pop. Every other coach you can name. It goes beyond all of them. The more your viewership is, the more money you will receive from the conference. Point blank, period. Even if Boo Corrigan said, it's a sweep, I'm getting everybody out of here. I'm getting every single coach. If you don't have a championship to your name, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back. And as a matter of fact, even if you do have a championship, if you have also set us up with some of the worst seasons in your program's history, hit the road, Jack. Even if he did that, guess what? These viewership numbers would still determine how much everybody's pie is. So it's a whole lot of something that we are sitting in the middle, and that we're at a point where we don't lose money this year. But again, Wolfpack Nation, I'm urging you, if you can hear the sound of my voice, I'm sure you're already watching. Make sure your friends are watching. Make sure every alum you graduated with. Make sure we get more eyes on TV when NC State is playing, because again, this is going to be a situation where, in a more direct way than ever, viewership matters to who gets paid what. So we need to get paid. We need to get this university paid in the way that we need them to, so that we can be a competitor with the really big names.
Yeah, not a whole lot more I can add to that. Just kind of regurgitating what Kenton just told you. NC State, because of this, is in a good spot moving forward. If they're at the bottom of the conference, yeah, they're in a spot that will likely lose them a good deal of money. But being in the middle of the pack, not only are you not really gaining a whole lot and they're losing a whole lot, it gives you a lot more room for growth. And I think NC State moving forward, of course, with more success on the field, which fingers crossed, we all hope, they have a lot more money to be made here in the future if they can bump up their viewership. So like Kenton was telling you, it is now more important than ever for you to watch, your friends to watch, your family members to watch, to get total buy-in to NC State athletics, because it will directly affect how much money they're making via revenue sharing. So it's definitely a whole lot of something, and NC State is in a good spot moving forward. Last one here, based on last week for NC State baseball, via 64 Analytics, they ranked the top 10 starting pitchers of the week last week. NC State had 2 of those 10, Dom Fritton, Romcom Dom, and Ryan Marone. Dom Fritton had a career high in strikeouts in 12 on the Friday game. NC State won that one 10-2, and Ryan Marone notched his own career high, 11 strikeouts in that Sunday game 3. It was a sweep of Canisius. 2 great starts, and potentially a lot more to come. Whole lot of nothing, whole lot of something.
This one is the toughest one of the 3, because it's Canisius. So
Exactly.
it's tough to say a whole lot of something. But also, we've been waiting for Don Fritton to hit back to this form. So it's tough to say a whole lot of nothing. This feels like one of those that I want to put on pause and just put a pin in it, and we'll revisit it in about 2 weeks or so. But since I have to answer now, I'm going to believe. I have expectancy in my heart for you, Romcom Dom. I have expectancy in my heart for all of the pitchers at NC State. I'm going to believe that this is the moment where the mojo comes back, where we see guys be exactly who we expected them to be going forward. I'm going to say a whole lot of something.
Yeah, I mean, you basically beat me to it. I think it's a little bit of both, because, yes, it was lower level competition, but it is a whole lot of something for the reason of you had to build confidence because the team stumbled out of the gate. And for Dom Fritton, this is a really big year for him. It's his bag year, potentially his draft year if it all goes the way he would like it to. Needed to get back on track. Again, he was kind of mediocre through the first 2 starts, struggled with the walk rate still, which will be a key for the entirety of the season. But to punch out 12, again, I know it's Canisius, it's so important for confidence. Seeing the ball go through the hoop, that's one of my favorite metaphors. He just needed to see himself succeed on a stage like that one, and to have a dominant performance, regardless of who you're playing, it can really go a long way. So I was very happy for a much better start from Dom on Friday. And Ryan Marone, I spoke about him just the other day, one of my favorite pitchers to watch for NC State. I think he's really only scratching the surface about what he will do during his time with Red and White. 11 strikeouts, held Canisius scoreless. He was outstanding. on Sunday, and I think he's going to be a workhorse for the remainder of the season as well. So it's a little bit of both, but I lean a whole lot of something just for that stance on building confidence here as you get out of what was a little bit of a rocky start in February. Coming up next, we're going to share some all-ACC honors for the women's basketball team. Those also came out on Tuesday, and they are littered with Wolfpackers. This comes after a quick word from our sponsors. Last couple minutes of our Wednesday show. The ACC released their women's basketball award honors for the 2024-2025 season. And as I just told you there before the break, it is littered with Wolfpackers. You also already heard that Westmore is the ACC Coach of the Year. Now, what I didn't tell you, he actually won this in a little bit of a landslide. In terms of vote getting, Westmore had 306 votes. Neil Ivey of Notre Dame, just 184. So it really wasn't even close, Notre Dame fans that are listening to this and clenching their fists. Westmore not only did a tremendous job in coaching this team, beat y'all in double overtime, the head-to-head matchup, but received a ton more votes. Very deserving of this honor. Shout out Westmore yet again. As far as the ACC first team goes, they do a little bit differently than the men's side. In fact, the men's, there's only 5. So first teamers, they have just 5. Women's, there are 15 selections for ACC first team. NC State has 3 of them. Would anyone like to guess? Yes, Isaiah James is one of them. Yes, Sinai Rivers is one of them. A mystery third one, Zoe Brooks. Zoe Brooks had a tremendous year, maybe even a little bit ahead of schedule, especially based on how she's played lately. Tremendous to see her all ACC first team. Kenton, your thoughts on James, Rivers, and Zoe Brooks being all ACC first teamers?
Not too bad for a backcourt that wasn't supposed to be one of the best in the conference, huh? Not too bad. No, but seriously, they all deserve it. They all get it done in very different ways. Olivia Miles, your all-around player who does a little bit of everything, and you know, it's odd to say this, but when she's scoring, I think that's when NC State is at their most dangerous. When Zoe is like, hey, it's time for me to go get a bucket, I really think that this team goes into a different mode in terms of our ability to win ball games. And then you got Big Zaya James, the one who she is the scorer supreme. She is the one. Trot her out, she'll get you 20 a night, each and every time. Roll the ball out to her. She don't need a set. She don't need a screen. Just give her a ball and a basket to put it in, and she'll get you 20 or so minimum. And then Sinai Rivers, the glue, the heart and soul of the operation, the one who does the dirty work. She is an enforcer and an absolute menace on defense, the likes of which I so greatly appreciate, because something that we talk about a lot, something that Grace and I have discussed ad nauseum on this show. What type of player are you when your shot is not falling? Mm-hmm. When Sinai River, shot fall, shot don't fall, she going to get in the stands. Shot fall, shot don't fall, she going to crash the boards. Shot fall, shot don't fall, she going to look for open teammates. I am telling you right now, it is very interesting and fitting that wasn't it the last regular season game of the year against SMU where she put up a double-double with 4 points?
Yep.
It's the quintessential Sinai Rivers game, because that's who she is. What a player. What a way that all 3 of these players, very different, but very valuable in their own special ways. We're going to miss the hell out of Sinai Rivers and Isaiah James next year. But, man, we're going to enjoy them while they're here, because they are doing something special right now.
And the honors did not stop there for NC State players. Zoe Brooks also won Most Improved Player. So that kind of goes hand in hand with some of my comments. Most Improved Player lands on all ACC first team. If you win Most Improved, sometimes you wouldn't exactly expect them to get to those type of heights, but that's the level of basketball that Zoe Brooks has been playing. And to piggyback off of Kenton there, her scoring 33, I think it was, against Notre Dame, and double digits again on the road against SMU, put up a big number against Wake Forest. Her emergence here in the last couple weeks, it has shown you that this team can go a couple notches higher than you even thought that they could. And Zoe Brooks raises both the ceiling and the floor of this team. That is the level of impact she has provided here in the last couple weeks. We've seen the games where Isaiah James can completely take it over and take us into overtime and win it there. We've seen Sinai Rivers be an enforcer like Kent was talking about, double digits on the boards as well. But Zoe Brooks is the secret sauce to this team, I believe. because teams are going to hone in on Isaiah James. Teams are going to hone in on Sania Rivers. Zoe Brooks might just be the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of these other teams trying to game plan for us. So most improved player, Zoe Brooks. Tilda Trieger lands on the All-ACC freshman team. That's a big honor because we've already talked about this is a player that was learning her position essentially on the fly this year. And when Westmore loses his premier transfer in Caitlin Weimar, Tilda Trieger had to step up in a massive way and take over the front court almost single-handedly. AWO's had a large hand in that as well, but Tilda Trieger's been coming on strong very recently as well. All ACC freshman team honors for the Swede.
Tilda Trieger has gotten better and better throughout the year. Her improvement has been directly tied to this team's improvement. We talked about earlier in the year, we were getting dominated in the front court. It was not close. What teams were doing in our front court was like, this is not sustainable. We will not be able to beat teams that trot out anybody who can do anything in terms of crashing the glass, in terms of being a rim protector and all that. Tilda Trieger coming along has been phenomenal. I love to see her on the all-freshman team. Don't be surprised. In a few years, we're going to see a senior version of Zoe Brooks, a junior version of Zam Jones, a junior version of Tilda Trieger. Boy, that's going to be a scary trio for the rest of the nation to deal with, not just the ACC. But I want to point out not just who's on these teams, but who isn't. What player did not make any of these teams that I'm like, oh, they snubbed the right one. They snubbed the right one because I know if I know anything about this young woman's competitive character, if I know anything about the type of person she is, I have very long said that this young woman plays pit bull defense. Do you know who I'm referring to, Grace?
Maddie Hayes.
Madison Hayes, not on none of these teams. And I'm telling you right now, even though Sania Rivers normally gets the toughest matchups night in, night out and whatnot, even though I call Sania Rivers our enforcer and whatnot, do you know who our leading rebounder is? It's Madison Hayes. And not only that, she's going off for 11 and 7 a night. Not only that, do you know what she's putting up from deep? Give me a wild guess.
Is she over 40?
38%.
Damn near close.
Your leading rebounder is shooting 38%, and that'll put her on any team. Hey, Madison, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, make them pay. Give every single team ahead of y'all hell for not putting you on that. I have often called her the woman version of Jose Alvarado, but she's something different than that because she plays that annoying, pesky style of defense. She crashes the boards at a ridiculous level, especially given her size, and she can shoot the damn blood out the ball. This team is up to something special, and I think this snub of her is the last piece of that special sauce. This snub of her is the last piece of that special sauce. Because of all people, that I would say, oh, she's going to be pissed off if she plays her best when she's pissed off. Madison Hayes is going to go out there, and I have a sneaky feeling she's going to light up the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament, and she's going to make one of them all tournament teams. I'm willing to bet $1 to donuts. I'm willing to bet dollars for every donut somebody wants to put up that she's going to make at least one of these tournament teams.
Tremendous honors for NC State women's basketball for the regular season. Now we got to gear up for some postseason awards. But again, to reiterate, 3 ACC first-teamers, Isaiah James, Sania Rivers, and Zoe Brooks. Actually, I also forgot to mention to you, Sania Rivers landed on the all-defensive team to the surprise of absolutely no one. That's a great honor as well. Tilda Trieger, a part of the all-freshman team. Zoe Brooks is the ACC Most Improved Player of the Year. And yet again, Coach Moore, for the 4th time at NC State, your ACC Coach of the Year, standing on business. That'll do it for us here on Wednesday. As always, thank you all so much for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button. Drop your comments in the comment box. Tell us your thoughts about putting App State back on the path for NC State football in 2028. I cannot wait for that one. Tell us your thoughts on the awards won by NC State women's basketball as we get into the postseason here. Coming up at the end of this week, we start on Friday out in Greensboro. Anything else you have on your mind, drop that in the comment box as well. Mash that subscribe button. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Thursday for more. And until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.